There are two levels of pacing in Happy Together that combine to give the film an incredibly flowy, memory-like quality. Macro pacing and micro pacing. The macro pacing dictates how long and in what configuration the scenes unfold. The way each scene bleeds into the next without a clear sense of how much time has passed gives the impression of Phi reminiscing, his mind quickly darting from one memory to the next. Because of this, the strongest images and feelings are represented with the most depth and clarity. This feeling of incompleteness is further supported by the micro-pacing, with its many jump cuts and montage segments. We are seeing a highlight reel of highlight reels. We aren't seeing a film that shows a story unfolding in real time. The film takes place in the past tense. What we are seeing is Phi's and a little bit of Chang's retroactive perspective of remembering this story and this time in their lives. This film has the most emotionally poignant use of frame rates that I have ever seen. Instead of using slow motion, the film opts to change the playback frame rate of certain shots to create choppier movement. This is a technique that is often used in animation to great effect, but before watching Happy Together, every time I had ever seen it used in live action, it just came across as a lazy and poorly planned substitute for slow motion. Happy Together takes this technique, that is often used as a band-aid for a poorly paced shot, and redefines it as a perfect visual representation of the emotional and physiological state of the characters. Throughout the film, changing the frame rate is paired with introspection, intense emotions, and my favorite use, altered time perception. In these scenes, stutter frames are added to represent how a quarter of a second can feel much longer, when your brain believes that a brief moment is very important. Before this movie, I had never seen this physiological time alteration described so elegantly in film. The elegance and simplicity of these frame rate techniques reinforce the fast-paced flow of the film by stylistically communicating emotions and ideas succinctly. Another fantastic editorial contribution to the flow of Happy Together is the strategic use of music. The first song in the film, Cucurucucu Paloma, plays contrastingly against the awe-inspiring might of the Iguazu Falls, with its delicate strings and vocals. Perhaps the song and the lamp of the Iguazu represent the idealized concept of Phi and Po Wing's relationship, while the chaotic real waterfall represents the destructive actualization of that relationship. Interestingly, the song is by a Brazilian songwriter, but it is sung in Spanish instead of Portuguese, and the Iguazu Falls are along the border of Argentina and Brazil, so the song and the waterfall have more in common than it would first seem. The music of Argentine tango composer Astor Piazzolla is used throughout the film to act as a motif for Phi's hope for the relationship with Po Wing. His song, Tango Apasionada, first plays during their car ride back from the hospital, just after the film switches to color and their relationship starts back up. A bit later, his song Milonga for Three scores the scenes of Phi and Po Wing learning to dance together, which is pretty much the highest point of their relationship. And, after their big fight about the passport, a more downbeat part of this song plays, as Phi contemplates the loss of the relationship. Tango Apasionada comes back one last time as Phi goes to see the Iguazu before leaving Argentina, while Po Wing cries in Phi's empty apartment, thereby bookending the relationship. Piazzolla's music in the film strengthens the Argentine atmosphere, while also expressing the inevitability of the failure of the relationship through its melancholy arrangement. In contrast to the Argentine tangos, Frank Zappa songs are reserved for scenes where Poe-Wing and Phi have drifted apart. Of course, you can't talk about the music of the film without mentioning the titular song, Happy Together, a version of which plays at the very end of the film to represent Phi's final acceptance that the relationship would have never worked. But he was still glad that they could be happy together, for a little while at least.